Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Console GUI Framework. I'm Hossein and in this video we're going to continue our progress towards building a console GUI. So what we have done so far, we built a render engine, and inside of that, for our render engine, we have created an interface for that because we want to have interfaces or our implementation classes. So whenever we have changed the implementation of the class, it shouldn't be sensed outside of that implementation. For example, in here, in application, whenever we change something inside of this class, we will not understand it here because, well, we have an interface. We actually have a contract with our render engine, which comes from iRender engine. So the iRender engine is our contract with the render engine. So inside of our render engine, we had a render thing which had a parameter called iframe, which can have any kinds of frame. We built a frame here which can have any kinds of frame. We did not create any frames so far, but we have done something including having a cell, a map, and a position. Now let me open the Solution Explorer, shrink it here. This is our Solution Explorer. Good. So we have come to this point that we were going to create a new frame. So I want to create an empty frame. Let me create in here, new, add new, and here I'm going to add empty frame, make it public for now. He will implement the iframe. Iframe have something, including the position and map, which map has cells inside of himself. I will create a constructor, public empty frame. So now I want to write bool have borders with default value of false, which it will indicate that will this frame have borders or not. And then I will set a max width and int max height. I will put a default value for them. Let's say 3, and in here say, I don't know, 9 maybe, or maybe 24. So now let's create a members, private orders, boolean. Now we need to have a private imap. We are going to edit here, map, and now in here I will go to say, I'll return the map thing, and in here I will create map, new map with a max width and max height. Max height. Okay, now let's initialize the have border here. It can't understand it, as you know. We shall write this dot. If you don't know anything about this, I have described it in classes episode of C# programming tutorial. So now I want to initialize the position. The position should have an initialized location, which it will be 0, 0, new position, and it shall be x 0 and y 0. You can, in the future, we can have margin or padding by changing this, but for now we're going to initialize it with 0, 0. Okay, now what we need is to initialize the map. So for that, we shall initialize it here, but I want to create a new method. I will write it as a initialize void initialize. That's it. And in here we will initialize the map. So initialize. So for map, I'm going to write a for and var x equals to 0, x lower than max width. We don't have a max width here, but map, and x lower than max width. Why we don't have? Because we can write it here. Max width and max height. Then after that, we're going to see, well, max width plus plus. Then here, another for the height. And in here, well, what I want to do, we want to write, we shall have a content for a pixel, right? Map.set new cell, now new position for the X and Y, because we don't have to a constructor. All right, then let's create this constructor. Yeah, we built it. Good job. And now let's add a max width and max height here. Now we don't have any exception, but an important thing is missing. Does this frame have a border or not? We didn't do anything about it. In here we shall write if have borders, we shall write a different content for the edges, tops, bottoms, left and right. For this part I have prepared a code. Now I will paste it here. So the edges will be like these. If you don't know how did I do it, these are actually from the ASCII codes that I've wrote here. For those you should just hold Alt and then write the ASCII code. And if you don't know what are those things and how do they map from the number to these characters, you can search it online. The tables are everywhere. So now we expect to have an empty frame prepared and ready for rendering, right? So now let's go to our render engine. In here we shall be able to render the frame, right? So now in here we're going to draw the actual frame. What we're going to do here, we're going to write a console that sets cursor position to 0, and then we're going to write console dot set. Now what we're going to do, we're going to write console dot output encoding. I'm writing encoding the UTF-8. So now we make sure that we have a specific encoding system. Now what we are going to do here, we're going to actually use the frames map, draw it. But the map doesn't give the things that we really needed. It just gives us line, set line, edit the cell. That's good. Set new cell, get line. Yeah, that's good to get a line of a specific position. But how can this map actually give me the exact thing that I should now draw and where it should be? I can't get anything, and I don't want to decide where it should be drawn, but I want the map to tell me where to draw it. So we should actually improve our map. How can I improve the map to be the one that we want it? Well, now for map I will write enumerator, because I want those cells to be enumerated inside of our render engine. So the cell, because I want the cells to be enumerated. Now here implementing the interface of the enumerator also inside of our map, and here writing private enumerator cell, and as the name I will write enumerator, and I define it as a private because I don't want anyone outside of my map accesses this member. Here I will write enumerator equals to cells dot get enumerator, and that's it. So now here for the current I will write enumerator I will write enumerator that's current, and for this one I will write this because this is actually an enumerator, right? And for dispose I will write enumerator dot dispose. I will write enumerator dot move next, return enumerator dot reset. Now I can easily enumerate through the cells of my map. I will return back to the render position, and I will write while frame dot map dot move next console dot write current dot content, and also I would write console dot set cursor position, and in here I will write map dot current dot position dot x. We'll remove this part and copying this part. We're going to write as an y, left and top. And we also might have a padding in the future, which we shall consider that, which is the frame dot position dot x plus the other thing. Also copying this part, pasting here, and y. Okay, and in the end, frame dot map dot reset. We just reset what we have been through the enumerator of the map. So the next time that we will come for the rendering, it will work just fine. Going back to our application, renewing the empty frame, adding the namespace. Okay, now let's run our application. Continuing. Collection was modified. Enumeration. That's because, let me stop it. Yes. In here, we changed the cells, but we did not updated our enumerator, right? Enumerator equals to cells that get enumerator. And it will work now. Let's run it. And there we go. We could create our empty frame. So now let's go and create our text box or text frame, I say in here. Let me open the Solution Explorer, pin it here. And now in the frames, creating new frame. The text frame will be almost the same as the empty frame with a little bit of changes. Public and colon iframe. Implement the frame. Now coming back to the empty frame, copying this part, going back, paste it, coming here, because we will need a map and everything almost the same. Let me copy and in here, paste it. We're using that part. But let's change the constructor's name to the text frame. Our text frame will need to have a public string text so that we can change it, get and set. It's not actually an edit text, but it's a text, which is which we mean actually it's a label. So the next part, we're going to add the text inside of our box. I'll come down to this part and I will write var y text. I'm going to estimate where my text should be positioned to. So max height divided by 2. I'm going to put it to the middle of our box and var x text. For this part, I want to put it one position right after our border, so I will position it as 1, or because we can have some padding or something. And now I'm going to edit my map by writing for each var character in text. And now here I'll write map.edit cell. I'm going to write new position, writing x text and y text, and then our character. So each time that I'm going to write a character, I should move forward my text, my x text position. I write x, the text position, plus plus. Now I'm going to initialize my text here, writing string text, and give it this dot text. Now it's ready. So now let's head back to our application. In here, instead of passing empty frame, I'm going to pass a text frame. We're going to write a text for it. Welcome to my GUI framework. And now also we should add more width, because, well, it has a lot of characters that should be shown. I will write a width of, let's say, 120. And now let's run this. Welcome to my GUI framework. Well, I don't like this borders. Their shape is not good for the label, and I want to change these. Well, now I've prepared a new set for these that I will copy and paste it here. Yeah, it should be better. Yeah, way better. And let me cut it to half, run it again. Much better. Thank you for watching. Leave a like if you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell so you will be notified once I publish my next video. Thank you.